Hi Autophiles, Subhash here, and I'm about to do my second interstate drive with an electric vehicle. Earlier this year I did the C40 from KL to JB. It was a very safe drive because it was just me. There was no one else to entertain the car, there was no timing restraints, so I could take my time, I could see what it was like. Now I'm going to up the stakes a little bit and have a more, not to say real world, but definitely a more challenging situation. I'm going to take this iX with its bigger battery capacity. It has over 600 kilometers of range, and I'm going to take it to Johor again, but this time I'm going to up the stakes. This is actually going to be a wedding car, so when I reach JB, I've got to get it charged and I got to get the decor all done, and the car has to be washed and all that, and that's like not a lot of prep time. That's about 12 hours or less of prep time. If anything goes wrong, well, you'll see it in the video. The second thing is I'm going to drive this back from JB to KL with my grandmother, who is more than 80 years old. I don't know how it's gonna go. I had so much fun doing the Volvo video that I thought a second part was definitely worth doing. So all of that is happening starting tomorrow. Okay, good morning. It's tomorrow. Managed to get everything ready. I'm in the car. It's 6:56 a.m. I put my route in here. It's 325 kilometers in the car's navigation. And it says I'll reach with 18%. I've currently got 89%. I'm highly doubtful. Supposed to reach at 10:12. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to probably add another hour to that conservatively. Always good to start your journey early, especially on a public holiday. Okay, let's get the show on the road. I'm also going to turn on Waze or Google Maps at some point if this navigation starts to not really serve me so well. Just as a reference, 426 km, 89. Supposed to reach at 10:13, 3 hours 15 minutes journey, 325 km. This is what they're telling me. We'll see what the reality is.
20 minutes later. 1 hour later. 3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
God damn it. So I've arrived in Skudai R&R, which is the last toll before you enter JB. I have 19% battery left. I have 91 kilometers of range. This was actually quite a surprising drive. I drove exactly how I would have driven if this was a petrol car. I wasn't looking for like the most optimum speed. I wasn't so worried about the range, especially about halfway through when I realized that the battery was holding its charge pretty well. It was not like the C40 where not even halfway through and I realized I have to make a pit stop. I mean, I got to a point where I thought of making a pit stop when the battery was around 50%, and then I passed by the charger that was at that rest stop, and it was a slow charger, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna sit down and spend like 3 hours. So I decided to just go all the way to Skudai. And the way I determined that the drive was feasible was I looked at the countdown range on the navigation that said how many kilometers before I reach this destination, and then I looked at my battery range, which is also shown on the other side of the display, and I looked at how fast this range on the battery was deteriorating in relation to that range. So it got to a point where I had 100 kilometers more battery range than I had to my destination. If my destination was 50 kilometers away, I would have 150 kilometers of range. At first the gap was a bit bigger, and then it kind of went down to 100 for the most part of the journey. And so right now I've reached my destination and I've got 91 kilometers of range left. So that gap is not 100, but it's about 90 kilometers. I've reached the BH Petrol, not sponsored, DC fast charger. The last time I had the C40, I went to the Caltex station across the road and I looked at my charging map, and this charger was supposed to be faster, but we've got another, I think, an iX3 charging here, so it'll definitely half the charging time. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try and film some of that process. Well, it seems like there is a problem. Not enough power or something. So much for this being an easy experience. Looks like I'm gonna have to head to the other charging station. I guess it's Caltex to the rescue again. We're not sponsored. Didn't have any luck with the BH petrol. I think I may have accidentally cancelled the iX3's charge as well. But anyway, let's see if the Caltex one works.
Many minutes later.
Okay, so we're done with charging. I got it up to 95%. This cost me 125 ringgit, 124.8. I think that's reasonable. I don't know if a faster charger would have been cheaper, but it's reasonable because if you think about it, an X5 has like an 80 plus liter fuel tank. I went from 90% to 20%, 70% of my battery capacity. So 70% of a fuel tank would have cost about 120-ish ringgit to fill up, but it wouldn't take an hour plus. I think mine was like an hour and a half to fill up to 95%. The big thing is how much is your time worth? Anyway, wedding car pictures of this coming up now.
2 days later.
Okay, it's now Saturday morning. The wedding is over. Everything went really well. Good job, BMW. So the last time I stopped, I was in Skudai, charged it up to like 90+%. Got to my house. The wedding started off at like 85%. Wedding over, 60% battery. And we did a lot of driving. Groom's house to bride's house, photo shoots, reception area, errands. I'll try to calculate the mileage using Google Maps after this and put it here. So I didn't have any anxiety at all. The bride and groom also didn't have any anxiety about the range. That was good, but I do have a few complaints. There's some things that this car really couldn't do, like hanging clothes. There is like a minuscule hook up there. I don't know if you can see it, but it's tiny. There's another one here. They're both really small. There's no really like grab handle where you can hang a hanger. There were no door handles, so we didn't have flower decor on the handles. But it's a small thing lah. I mean, in the end, the decor turned out quite nice. But the thing that really was a problem was there are no gas struts on this hood. And there are no there's not even like a mechanism to hold it in place at all, not even a manual one. So when the decorator was doing the tying of the flowers to the front, two people had to hold up the entire weight of the hood, and it was not a light thing, you know. I know it's like not meant to be user serviceable BMW, but just have like an easy to spot and easy to use like simple mechanism. So besides those cons, there were some real pros to having an EV as a wedding car. Like the aircon was running most of the time, so the bride and groom were not uncomfortable. There was not a long period where they got in and the car was hot. This car just was pre-conditioned most of the time. And the other thing that was nice was that it was super quiet. So drop off the bride and groom, and as they go in and do their ceremony, just reversing the car into the house quietly, without disturbing, without being loud. This thing just silently creeping in was very cool. Yeah, and of course, being such an out there design, man, as a wedding car, this is such a head turner, man. You just look at it and you're just like, what on earth is this spaceship? The funny thing was, I saw at least 4 iXs in Johor Bahru on the day of the wedding itself. Even one of the family members had an iX, but the 40, the lower spec one. I think 3 of them were white and one was burgundy, like that reddish deep maroon color. This color, this Blue Ridge Mountain, is really great, especially with like the copper gold colored decorative inlays. It just pops so well. Pros and cons, I think it evens out. I'm done with the wedding, so I'm going back into EV and work stuff. Tesla are opening a supercharging station in Johor Bahru. That is happening sometime this week, but I won't be in Johor Bahru, I'll be back in KL. I came to the mall where they're supposed to open it up. I don't know where it is, there's no signage because the event is not today. But I want to go and spot it and see if I can charge up there. But in the meantime, I found a AC charger that's free. And it's 7 kilowatts, so I'll be 100% at 11 PM. And it's now like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not going to wait that long, I'm just going to charge it up while I look for the Tesla supercharger. Maybe get something to eat or maybe a new iPhone. So yeah, let's go and look for that Tesla supercharger. Found it. It was in the other opposite end of the mall. It seems to be one AC charger, slow charger, and the rest 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all the fast chargers. The one over there, it's coming from this thing, this box, Tesla wall connector. It says Tesla charging only on that. and that one. Anyway, it's all here. You can see the wiring is all set up and goes to this big transformer box. And unfortunately, that means I can't charge the BMW with a fast charger today. Oh well. So I'm back after about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Hour and 20 minutes. I'm now at 59%. I was at what? 50% before? AC charging is just terrible. What a silly idea. So I gotta plan my journey for tomorrow. Wish me luck. At least the parking is free, but you pay with your data.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So I was driving back to my family's house and I passed by this Autobavaria showroom and I saw that they have a fast charger here. So I'm gonna charge up here. Let's see how it goes.
The next day.
So Sunday afternoon back in the Klang Valley, it was just my grandmother who had to be sent up. 2 of us in the car. Started at 7 plus AM with 93% battery and reached Subang Jaya at, I want to say 11ish with about 24% battery. Driving fast in the beginning, but then we went back to like normal highway speed, Malacca onwards. I didn't need to do a stop halfway through, but when the battery percentage went to about 55%, I started getting a little bit nervous and I thought, okay, I can stop at Pago and try out that Shell station with the fast charger there, the 180 kilowatt one. It's run by Johor Parking. You need another app to like operate, and I had issues there again. This is not the first time. This time around there was a glitch because I just changed my phone. So my Maybank to use secure to you was not set up yet. It was still going through that 12-hour security thing lah. So I couldn't verify payment for the Johor Parking charger. So I just couldn't charge there. Okay, I'm gonna stop here and have a little rant about the charging situation in Malaysia. It's really stupid that there are like half a dozen gatekeepers for the charging network. There's just not a single unified app, as far as I can tell, that has information on where the chargers are, how fast they are, how much they cost, in a very easy to understand metric. Because when I look at it, it says 1 ringgit 20 cent per minute, this much kilowatts. It really isn't giving me information that I can quickly process and say, okay, half an hour here will get you approximately this much. Like, where is that information? I don't want to do mathematics every time I'm thinking about where can I charge and how much of my weekend is going to be wasted. It's so infuriating because you go to a petrol station and like literally any petrol station will take any of your cards. Like, you don't need to have a bonus link card to pour petrol at Shell. You don't need to have a Mesra card to pour at Petronas. With the apps, you got to have an app registered with your name on it and your bank card details tied to it, and then you can use the electric charger. It's so stupid. They're just gatekeeping so they can collect your data, so they can sell their slice of the charging network pie to Petronas or TNB about 5 years down the line. It's selfish. It needs to change. And I was trying to show my grandmother, she's 80 plus years old, you know, she was marveled at the car. But when I was trying to explain to her, look at how easy it is. You know, I take up my phone, I scan the little barcode, the QR code from like 10 meters away, and it like opens up a link to my, and then suddenly I'm stuck and I'm just there like scratching my head like, you know, I can't solve this problem and I'm supposed to be the tech guy in my family. EVs are still feasible. Yes, I did do this journey without charging, but it's just, oh my god, like horrible. And it's solvable problems. It's very solvable. All you have to do is on your EV station, just have a way for me to tap a credit card to start charging. If there's a reservation through an app, then I can't access it, fine. But just have that option. I saw an NFC tag on the Johor Parking thing, and I tried my cards and everything was like, nope, you gotta use the app. Okay, rant over. Back to the trip summary. I reached Subang Jaya, 24%. Yeah, then I started getting a little bit nervous because I got to send this car back to Cyberjaya tomorrow, and I had to be in Klang today. The range was telling me 120 odd kilometers, and I'm like, yeah, I can make it, but I don't want to risk it and I don't want to be stuck tomorrow because I have stuff to do. So then I started opening up the apps and trying to find a charger, and there was another headache there because the BMW's navigation system, which is connected to some charging stations, didn't have all the charging stations. And then yesterday I was at the Autobavaria Skudai one, and it was a Go to You app that I used, so I had some extra credit there. So I thought, okay, I can use that and clear whatever credits that I already purchased yesterday. But no, because the Wheel Corp Klang BMW showroom that I'm at uses Jom charge. So my credits are now sitting in Go to You, being unused, and I'm probably not going to have an EV for a while, so enjoy my spare change, I guess. So anyway, I had to use my Jom Charge app to find this one. The Jom Charge app said it was here, and I knew it was here because I've passed by this showroom a couple of times. But then I tried to find this showroom on the navigation system, and it did not exist there. So I was just like, what is going on? Why is there not a system that just works? I'm very tired. I mean, I put 2 and 2 together. Basically just put the address in and follow the navigation instructions here. I knew where it was, but I wanted to see how many kilometers. I wanted to get some information. I also wanted to show a couple of other things. So now I'm here. It was 16% when I plugged in. It's 26% now. Don't really plan to stay very long. I'm gonna charge it up to, I don't know, what's a good amount? 50%?
The next day.
So it's finally Monday. I'm returning the car. I'm actually in Cyberjaya already. Their office is just behind there. Got 18% battery left. That's the theme of this trip so far, is arriving at your destination with about 20% battery left. So before I conclude, I've already written a 2,000 word textual report, if that's what you prefer. So if you want to read that, it's linked below. So conclusions for this video, let's start with a review, a mini review of the BMW iX. I think first impression for me changed from not liking it to understanding the point of it. And if you really don't like the look, which I can understand also, there's always the iX3. There's more conservative looking electric vehicles from BMW. Performance, I'll start with the bad things. The worst thing for me was the weight of the car. Problem with all electric cars actually, but this particular one is very heavy. I mean, the car has a lot of power, 560 horsepower, 700 over Newton meters at the top. But because it's so heavy, on this thing, even with the Hans Zimmer soundtrack and all that, it's not an A plus for me. It's like an A. It's good, it's just not the best. Maybe in the M60 version of this, that would be impressive. Performance is like a 4 lah. The most impressive aspect of the performance was the range. So performance 4. Design is probably the most difficult part for me to rate. I'm going to give it a rating first and then try to explain myself. 4.5. It's a 4.5 because this is a statement car, and I think that 4.5 rating is particularly for this variant, this spec. So iX, xDrive 50 with this colorway, every single thing that can be redesigned was redesigned, except maybe the aircon vents. The aircon vents look pretty conventional. The steering wheel being reinvented into an octagon, I came around to it. I get it, I came around to it. Never mind. The crystal application here. I mean, all these small things add up, and I think overall design was well executed. If you're not so particular about BMW heritage and BMW's looking a particular way, and you're not so caught in the past, there is something definitely to talk about with this design, because they needed something like this. If you park this next to a Model S Plaid, full spec, whatever, the Model S is just going to look so pedestrian. It's just going to be, oh yeah, Model S, whatever. Is it a Plaid? I can't tell. You put this next to it and it's like, okay, that is definitely not a petrol car. That's definitely from the future. That's definitely something special. So yeah, 4.5. I'm sticking with it. Finally, value. This is like a $550,000 car. Contextually, it's between a 3.5 and a 4, because we do have like the EQS and all that, which is like 700,000. You have the i7s, which are also more expensive. This can theoretically deliver that kind of prestige and that kind of performance at a cheaper price point. So I can't hate the pricing. $550,000. This feels like a $1 million car. I mean, in fact, if you put in the excise duty and the import taxes, which are, temporarily not there, this is definitely would be a touching $1 million car. So yeah, at 550 odd thousand, I think you are getting your money's worth contextually in Malaysia, considering the price of imported cars here. Having said that, this is not 2.5 times a Model 3. It's tough to brain how the value proposition plays out against a Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. but it is a bigger car, so maybe there's that as well. So that's it for my journey with the iX. Thanks for watching. I don't think I'm going to do another one of these KL to JB runs with the electric vehicle again. I don't think it was worth my time. Maybe next year I'll do it, or when the DC fast charging experience improves overall, then I'll do it. Autophiles signing out.